I enjoy coming to work every day knowing that clients are depending on me to guide them through whatever financial needs they have.
Every client we have is different. And so it's really about finding out what's really the most important thing per client.
With financial planning, everything is interconnected. So a comprehensive plan means that you're taking care of income needs now, income needs in the intermediate term, and income needs long term. We'll do an asset cycle portfolio. We'll do a riskalyze test. We'll do a life insurance audit or a life insurance review.
And so when we build a deep relationship with our clients, then we can take a step back and then we can look at different options to help them specifically get to their goals. One of the things I feel our job is as advisors is to introduce strategies to clients that maybe they did not know that they were out there. But it's our idea, our job to come out and say, have you ever thought about this?
And the planning it's not always about income, but a lot of it is also about the legacy. So the element of family is very important to us, and it's important to our clients.
Hello, my name is Steve Jablonski, and I'm the host of Financially Speaking with Jeff Bush. We have an exciting topic today as our company is really going to the next level and what we call through the Wellspring Formula, and we're going to talk about it today. And Jeff, good to see you.
Well, hello, Steve, and welcome to the show. It's good to be here. First of all, let me start off by saying here we are in our office. We're shooting on location today in our Pottstown office, which is located on 152 East High Street. It's the corner of High and Hanover Street. We're up here on the 4th floor, and we've been in this office for a long time. We've been in this office for 12 years, and we've seen a lot of changes here in Pottstown over those 12 years. In fact, just to give a brief plug to the restaurant that just opened on the first floor, the Blue Elephant, is really going to be a nice addition to the area here. But what's more exciting is that we're shooting the show here, the PCTV show here, for the second time, right here on location. So it's worked out nice for us. We've been doing this show, of course, now for 6 years. It's hard to believe, but time marches on. And of course, when we first started the show, I did it with our former colleague Barry, and of course Barry has since moved on, and he's retired, and now, of course, Steve, here you are, you're as part of our team. So what we've started to do is we've really refined the process that we use with our clients over the past several months. We've really refined it, defined it, and we call it the Wellspring Formula. So yeah, it's exciting that we're going to talk about that today, Steve.
And I think some of the basis is that we've been doing things since 2001. We've never really written them down, and that along with letting the clients be the voice.
Yeah, that's really important. And when we look through the number of people that we've helped over the years, which has been hundreds and hundreds of clients that we've helped over the years, and we've helped a lot of the clients in different ways, and things were very different back in 2001 when we first got started, and here we are 19 years later, 2 global recessions later, and we've done a lot of outreach, we've done a lot of marketing, we've done a lot, we've done this TV show, we've done seminars, we've done things in the newspaper, on the radio, etc. But really, it comes down to how our clients move through the process of working for us, and that's really what we're excited about, is just like defining and refining that process that we use, the voice that we use.
Yeah, and we reached out to some of the clients for some feedback. And what did that look like, and maybe what were some of the positives or maybe some of the learnings?
Yeah, so we did reach out to a number of the clients, some clients that we've been working with for a while, and that we felt that we had a good relationship with, and we really wanted them to be the voice that we listened to, and it was really enlightening. We never did that before. We sat down and we asked them what they think of us. What do you like about working with us? What do you like about, or what are some of the things that we could add? What would be the one thing that we could add to what we're already doing? When you talk to us, when you talk about us to your coworkers, to your friends, to your relatives, what do you say? So all those things, go into the recipe of who we are and the process that we use.
Because in the beginning of this, one of the questions was, what do your clients think of you? And I think in that first meeting, we kind of looked at each other and we said, I hope they think this, but we've never really asked them.
It was a little scary because, you don't know, and sometimes you don't really want to know maybe necessarily, but, as we went through it, I know for me it was just a very uplifting experience because these are clients that we felt strongly about, and, we then came to find out that they felt the same way. About the relationship and how we've helped them through their financial life. And really, it just kind of gave us the motivation to carry that throughout our whole practice.
Yep. And we have 3 people up on our screen now, and let me go over these a little bit. And we have Albert Einstein, Socrates, and then there's a lady probably people don't recognize, but she's the longest living, Sarah Knaus, who was born in 1880, lived her 119 years and 97 days. So what does this have?
She just died, didn't she?
Actually, she died in 1999.
1999. She's from Allentown.
Yes, from Allentown.
Right.
Yep,
okay.
From Allentown. And so when we look at our process, and when we look at Einstein, and he was the numbers person, he was the idea person with E equals MC squared. So, in our practice, we start off with numbers, we start off with ideas that maybe clients never thought of before, and we can introduce them to that. And then with Socrates, with one of the great philosophers, is people would come to him for advice, and what was his philosophy? And our philosophy is comprehensive financial planning, starting with the client's goals first. And then with Sarah Knaus, people don't know how long they're going to live. So what we want to do in planning is we really want to make sure if someone lives to be 90, someone lives to be 100, what type of strategy have they implemented with our help that can help them really get there. So when we get a little bit more into it, we have what's called is our proprietary process of the 7 pillars. So Jeff, if you want to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, so what's interesting about what you just said, Steve, is particularly with the young lady on that we used, the Sandra Knaus, I think what is going to happen is we're going to see more and more of people living longer and longer. And she lived to the ripe old age of, what'd you say,
119?
119.
And 97 days, too.
And 97 days. Well, that's a whole quarter, right? Well, I think you're going to see more of that. Maybe not people living to 119. That's kind of the extreme. But I think you're seeing more and more people living past the age of 100. I know even like when I read the obituaries every day, you see more and more people that are living to their age 100. And even in our practice, we're seeing people live longer and longer, and that's really that's also an important part of our practice because you really have to plan for what we call longevity risk. So again, that all goes into the formula. But the pillars, the 7 pillars that you mentioned, that's really the the basis for everything that we do. And I'm going to start with income management, right? So income management, I would say, makes up probably the vast, I don't want to say the majority of what we do, but it's probably the biggest of those 7 pillars. Is normally when we see people that are coming in for the first time, that's the first and the most important problem that we have to solve. Where are we going to get our income from when we stop working? We've retired. Maybe we're getting a small pension, but it's not enough. So we've got all these other assets. How do we place them so that we're getting the proper income? So that's one of the pillars. Then we have wealth management. So wealth management is kind of a broad topic, but it's basically, people come in and they've accumulated maybe through investing, through their 401k plan at work. It could be through an inheritance, but we have to manage what they have, and really the way we do that is through another pillar, and that's risk management. I know, Steve, that's a big thing that you do in our practice, with our Riskalyze program that we've run through with our clients, and that's really, really important, is the risk management aspect of it. And then, we go on to some of the other pillars, such as tax planning. I mean, tax planning is so important because people come in with IRA accounts, they've never been taxed. So, if you have an IRA account that's worth $500,000, let's say, well, guess what? One of the beneficiaries of that IRA account is the IRS. They're going to get their hands on it either in distribution or at death, or at some point they're going to get that. So the tax planning aspect of it is very, very important. And then do we do the Roth IRAs, the conversions, and it brings on a whole new discussion. And then we talk about what's your legacy. What's your legacy? How what's going to happen when you're no longer here? How are these assets going to be distributed to your family? Then we get into the whole discussion about the family, the children. A lot of times there's children have, some of the children might have some problems. There's some concerns there about the children inheriting the money. They might be in a bad marriage, so there's they have to consider the children's spouses, and sometimes people are concerned about that, or how they're going to inherit that money. So that's a big part of it. Charities, how are the charities going to benefit, and are they going to benefit now, or are they going to benefit later? So that's a big discussion too, is the legacy. Then we get into other things like philanthropy. It's like, because a lot of our clients are philanthropic, and as a firm, we're philanthropic. We feel like we're a part of the community, and we feel it's important to give back, and that's a big pillar, and that's a big part of what we do. And then, of course, there's the undefined, the value-added services, the things that we do that during the course of the day. Steve, the nice thing about our organization and the fact that we're a small planning firm, we can do, we have creative solutions for our clients. We don't use the cookie-cutter approach, and because of that, and the fact that we're independent, and the fact that we're acting in a fiduciary capacity, which means that we're always acting in our clients' best interest. There's always a lot of value-added type of things that we're doing, whether it's budgeting, whether we're referring out other business to other attorneys or accountants, or maybe somebody needs help with other insurance planning, be it Medicare or other type of health insurance. So it's really a comprehensive thing with the 7 pillars.
Yep. And in the value-added service, there's also something in there about being a sounding board.
Yeah, so we're always a sounding board. We a lot of times people come in and they'll say, "Oh, well, we already have an advisor." Maybe they came to one of our workshops. Maybe they came to a Social Security workshop and they come in and see us. "Oh, we just want help on Social Security." And then we're a sounding board. We offer a second opinion on things that they've already done. Yep. A big part of what we do.
And so when we talk about the Wellspring Formula, and it really, the majority of it is relationship based. So when we start with the FORM, the formula, what can you tell us about the relationship
form
part
is, we get into the why before we get into the how, and that's where form comes from. So form is FORM, family, occupation, recreation, and then that all comes before the money. Okay, so family, occupation, and recreation, that's the why. Okay, so that's what it's all about, right? The money is just there to take care of everything. So we can do the money, we can do, that's the wealth management aspect of it. That's not what sets us apart. That's, almost any financial, well, I shouldn't say almost, if you're a financial advisor and you're still in business, you can do wealth management. So, we think we're pretty good at that, right? But it's the other things, that really make us who we are, and that is, helping people realize their goals, the family goals, the occupation goals. So what's the occupation goals mean? Well, it may be, adopting a work optional lifestyle and helping people, work and do the things that they want to do. And, the recreation is really what it's all about. You've worked your whole life, and now what do you want to do to enjoy your life? And of course, the family is, how we leave our legacy.
Yep. And so when we talk about the whys, and then maybe we talk about a little bit what matters to people, and there are some things out there that we can control, we can influence. There's some things that we can't. So if you could tell us a little bit about.
Yeah. So that's the famous Venn diagram, right? So we have what matters and what we can control, because so much of what happens in life you can't control, but the things that you can control and the things that do matter, that area is where we live. That's the intersection of those two in our Venn diagram there, and that's where we've created this Wellspring formula. And that's where it comes all down. That comes down to the form. The form is all in that space there. The family, the occupation, the recreation, of course, which all leads to money. It's funny, Steve, because usually when people come in to see us, they think the first thing we're going to talk about is the money. And when we start talking to them about the other things, the family and the occupation and the recreation, it changes the conversation. It's really a game changer, because that's really that's really what it's at, where it's at. People want to talk about that stuff. They want to talk about. It doesn't take long to get people excited and talking about these other things that drive them. Whether it could be their grandchildren, right, or it could be. They're very passionate about certain recreation that they do. Maybe they're, maybe they have a sailboat or something, or maybe they like to fish, or they like to hunt, or, they like to, they like to go on vacations or whatever. We've got several hundred clients that fit into this category here, and there's each one of them are different in terms of what's important. But I will say this: if it's important to them, it's important to us.
Yeah. And so the basis starts with really what matters with the clients. What are some of the things that you can control as an advisor to help people get what they want?
Well, that's a good question. So we can control some things, right? So we can control the risk. So how do we do that? Well, we quantify that. We quantify their portfolios and say, okay, well, you have 5 different accounts, and when we run that through our risk software, you came up with a score of 75 as an example, which means you're in a, I would say, the moderately to aggressive category, right? But yet, we may have them take our test and they would score much lower, hypothetically. Maybe they score, in the low 50s or even the 40s, which makes them more of a moderate investor. So we can control that. We can control the level of investments. We can control the risk there. And the other thing we can do is we can build guarantees into their plan, which helps them generate income in retirement. So when I say guarantees, of course we can't guarantee returns on their stock portfolio or even their bond portfolio, but the guarantees more come in the income strategies, particularly with some of the annuity strategies that we use, where there's guaranteed components in there of usually like income in the form of income payouts, which is real important. So those types of things we can control.
Yep, and also Social Security.
Social Security is another thing that you can control. Yeah, because you can decide when to claim your Social Security benefit, and you can claim your benefit anytime between the ages of 62 and the age of 70. And really, like, our belief in our firm is that we need to educate, because a lot of people don't understand all the intricacies of Social Security, and it's very complicated. It's a government program that's so many people are dependent upon. For the average couple, it's a third of their income in retirement. So, we really we're on a mission to educate people on, claiming that Social Security benefit.
Yep. And if we get a little bit deeper into our approach, and tell us a little bit about FIT. What does that mean? What's the philosophy behind that when we meet in a perspective?
Yeah, well, so when we meet somebody, we got to make sure that they are a fit, meaning that they're a fit for them and a fit for us. So it all starts. So let's say we have a conversation with somebody, and they may have come to a workshop, or they may have been referred into our firm by somebody else, by another client, most likely, or maybe a center of influence like an accountant or an attorney. And what we do after, we'll have an hour meeting with them, and we'll go through some of these concepts, and then we'll determine whether they're a fit. So we'll have a conversation with our firm, right? So it's you and me. Yep. and our support staff. We have 2.5 support people, support staff, which we really rely on. We value them, and we value their opinion and their experience, and we'll have a conversation of whether we think that this person is a good fit for our organization. So it really is a two-way street. And then we'll have a conversation. We usually call these people 2 days after the first meeting, and we'll say, is this a good fit? Is maybe so? On our end, we've determined that they're a good fit. So we say, yeah, we think this is a good fit, and then they have the opportunity to say, yeah, we would like to pursue working with you, and let's have another meeting. Or maybe they'll say, you know what, no thanks. We've interviewed several advisors, and we don't think you're a right fit for us. And we're okay with that, because we can't be all things to all people. We're really all things to some people, right? So I think the more we get really entrenched in that philosophy, I think the more this comes out, and that's all part of the fit process.
And you touched on it a little bit before, but help us out with what's a fiduciary in this environment today? How does that benefit the clients?
Well, the fiduciary is, and of course, Steve, you and I have always acted as a fiduciary. You're a CFP, as well as a CHFC, and of course, I'm a CLU and a CHFC. Those are all designations, and of course, we also are investment advisor representatives that we work for a broker-dealer. Our broker-dealer is USA Financial Securities, and they're an independent broker-dealer. So in that capacity, we work as a fiduciary, and we've always worked as a fiduciary. We're always working in the best interest of our clients. So we're being held to that standard that so it's not just we're not just making suitable recommendations to our clients. We're making these recommendations in their best interest, and that's the fiduciary. So it's really important to the consumer when you're working with a financial advisor that they are operating, in that fiduciary capacity. You want somebody that's acting in your best interest.
Yep. And one of the value-added services, as we can show on the screen, is that we take the show on the road, so to speak, with educational seminars.
Yeah, and we do take the show on the road, and we've been doing this for a long time. Basically we do a seminar usually about once a month in various areas. Sometimes we'll do them right down the street here at Lily's. We have one there this week as we're taping the show today. We're going to be there. We're in various other areas around the county. Montgomery County. Sometimes we'll dip into Chester County. We'll go into Philadelphia, but these are all locations that are central to where our office is. And these workshops could be on a variety of topics. One of the topics that we're focusing on right now is Social Security, because it's such a big decision, Steve. So with that being said, I think time really flies. I think we're at the end of our We're at the end. The tape is slowly running out here, so we gotta sign off here. But it's been good talking to you this morning, Steve, here in our office in Pottstown. And with that being said, we're going to sign off. This is Financially Speaking.